All right, let's see. All right, good morning, guys. Today is Friday's February 23rd. As usual, doing analysis for US 30, gold and EU. So looking at the daily bias, we have a bullish daily bias on US 30. So even yesterday, unfortunately, that one account I was trying to catch small lot sells on for US 30 got stopped out. I was holding sells all the way from 37 to 70. So that I held on for about 2,000 points. My allowed drawdown was about 3%. So it's not bad enough to recover. It was a 200K account, and I can bring it back to break even, hopefully in like 1.5 trades. Um, but US 30 bullish, gold bearish, EU bullish, and the US dollar bullish, but looks like we may be breaking down on the US dollar in order to turn to bearish. Um, so here, looking at what we have today, we don't have any trade set up on this is 92. This is too big of a zone, 125. That's too big of a zone. So we don't have any trades on the 15-minute time frame for US 30, no trades on the 30-minute time frame. We have a trade going on here for gold. So we have a break and continuation setup. So here for gold, we do have this zone. So we have a break and continuation and test and rejection setup. So looking the break and continuation setup, this is your break candle, this is your continuation candle. You would have entered on the retest of the zone. So that trade is currently going. We do have a test and rejection setup. So what I'll do, I'll wait because look, if you look closely here, we have another potential test and rejection setup, right? This is the test candle, this is the rejection candle. Remember, I prefer not to trade during, the first New York open candle, depending on whatever time frame it is. So here, what we'll do, we'll wait for this pending test and rejection. And then what we would want to see here, I was really looking to catch this, but let's see how this will go. We also do have a valid sell momentum right here. So this sell momentum is also valid. So we can also take a trade if gold comes back up here for that valid sell momentum. The other one, we need to check our zones indicator. So once we turn on the zones, we have a bunch of sellers sitting here. Now, as much as we have a bunch of sellers sitting here, we're about to pick up demand. So we're in a demand zone right here. So looking at this trade, probably the momentum indicator or this zone that's above here would be a better sell zone. But let's see how this one closes because again, remember, we don't want to take a trade in between no man's land, in between supply and demand. We want to, where our SAR zones are, we would rather want to sell around those zones. So at this time, let's see also the markups indicator. So we have a daily bearish low here. So that's good as well. So we have a daily bearish order block. So let's just see how this current 15-minute candle will close. On the 30-minute time frame, we have a break and continuation as well. This is break continuation, but we have a better break and continuation of this zone that's above here. So remember, we always need to ask ourselves, which is the most optimal zone? So the most optimal zone is this right here on the 30-minute time frame. So this particular one at 2026, because we have two SAR zones. So if we have two SAR zones, we always want to ask ourselves, which is the most optimal zone. So looking at this trade right here, would be interested to see where somebody would be at a 1:1 risk to reward who entered the trade regardless of overextension, which is there. And then what we would want for this trade is something like this. Something like this. Now, let's look at, so this is based off of this break and continuation entry that validated right here on this zone. So it already validated, so remove the word pending from it. And remember, Fridays is normally continuation day, as I told you yesterday. So today, what we might like US 30, I do expect US 30 to keep pumping up, because I do see a lot of people trying to catch the sell at the all-time high, but logically they would try and stop hunt before dropping it. Gold here for this gold trade, if we turn on the zones indicator, so even here on the 30-minute time frame, I would be inclined to take the sell here. But you can see here, if we're looking to take this sell here, we are again in between no man's land. So you see this zone right here that has more sellers. So I'd rather wait for gold to pump up here and sell from here. But we've already had that break and continuation entry. So we'll just wait and see how that plays out. I can leave the zones on here for now. But because you guys can see we are coming from a demand zone. So if we are selling, we want to sell from a supply zone. Okay, for EU, and we have no momentum sales for gold on the 30-minute time frame. EU, we have a possible break and continuation right here on the 15-minute time frame. That's going on. That will be going on right here. Okay, so I'm liking this particular trade right here. Especially also we are in an uptrend on EU. So here on EU, let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss the gold trade. Okay, that's fine. So this is a pending break and continuation buy. Yeah. So here what we would want to see is something like this. And then we turn on our zones indicator. Perfect. We have a demand zone right there. And also a stop loss is also, protected by these supply zones. I'm sorry, demand zones. So let's wait to see how this closes over the next few minutes. So I'll probably be taking my trades for the day will probably be the EU trade and the EU trade and the US 30. I'm sorry, not US 30, EU trade and gold trade. So I'm liking the EU trade. I think there was a hourly. Yes, we have an hourly bullish order block here. So this is a perfect. I'm liking this EU's trade setup. We have an hourly. So we have an hourly bullish order block and a 4-hour bearish order block. So this cancel out. So at this point, we go with the demand. So because you can see we have a 4-hour bullish low and 4-hour bearish low, hourly bullish low, hourly bullish, hourly bearish high, and then an hourly bullish high. So here looking for that. Let's go back to gold. So gold, remember, this is the most optimal entry on the 30-minute time frame. In the next 3 minutes, let's see how this 15-minute time frame or trade will set up. And then we've already marked up EU on the 15 and 30. US 30, there's nothing where price is at right now. So today we won't have any US 30 trades. Gold on the hourly time frame, we have a possible test and rejection setting up on the hourly time frame. So maybe even the hourly is a better entry, right? So remember, we always need to ask ourselves, which is the most optimal trade? So we have a 15-minute on gold, we have a 30-minute, we have an hourly. So of all those trades, which is the most optimal? So here we have a test and rejection that's setting up. We also have the break and continuation here, but again, always go for the most optimal. There's a trade setup here based off of this small SAR zone here, a break and continuation, but the same two candles gave us a test and rejection setup. So always go for the most optimal trade. Because if you do, I mean, you can still go for the other one, but if you do get stopped out, right, the question is, will you feel bad that there was a better trade setup that you could have taken? Also looking at the markups based off of where gold is, we don't have any order blocks. We have a daily bearish low here, But so no markups on the zones indicator. Perfect. Again, you see this red zone here. So again, what do we do here? Instead of taking the trade here, we do see this supply zone all the way up here because we said we're not going to be taking trades anywhere near or in between no man's land. So to me, this is a better trade setup or for gold. So what then we do here is let's mark this up. And then here we have a test and rejection setup, but we won't take it at the SAR zone. We'll wait for price to go and grab liquidity. Test and rejection sell. So it's already, so this is a pending one. All right. So we have a 15-minute candle that's closing, and let's see how that goes for gold. So again, here, let's turn this on for gold. Even though this closes here, right, we wouldn't take it here. So here on the 15-minute time frame, honestly, I would rather wait for the 30-minute trade setup on gold or the 1-hour trade setup on gold. So the one I would be inclined to take on the closure of the candle is this EU trade. So if EU closes above here, above this SAR zone in the next 20 seconds, I'll be buying EU. So for you guys, 0.75% risk, 15 pips stop loss, and 30 pips TP. So, but we need that closure. So I'm waiting 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We need to make sure it closes above. Wait for the candle to open. Okay, so I'm in a buy on EU. What the wait? Um, wait, this is all right, give me 1 second. I thought I tested this out. Let me enter on this other account first. So that's the buy for EU. I don't know why the other accounts are. I need to enter this manually. 13.33. Wow. What? My NSF account is not uh frick. Unless it's let's try something else. Give me 1 second. 150. But the trade should be running. I'm just trying to get in with my NSF account. I think the trailing stop parameters are different. I don't know why. Let's see. Oh, wow. Um, mm, mm. Wow. Give me 1 second. I have to get this my phone. This is crazy. Um, oh, I know why. It should be some of these instruments have like different. Let me enter here on the phone first. Some of these instruments have different names. And you know what? As I'm waiting, I'm not gonna be in a rush. But I'm in that trade on one of my other accounts. I'm trying to configure this NSF account here. Hit okay. 10, 30, 15. All right, so let's see if this will take. Okay. All right, so I'm in with my NSF account and my other account. What's the other one? So we can turn off all these others. So it's no longer pending. It's an outright break and continuation setup. All right. So we're in that EU trade, or I'm in that EU trade, the gold trade. So gold, again, I'm not, so this is no longer pending. It has already validated. But for me, this 30-minute trade, this 30-minute sell looks better based off of what I can see. And there goes US 30. So I told you, like US 30, I do expect them to keep manipulating price up because a bunch of people are probably trying to sell US 30 to sell the all-time highs. So yeah, so they'll keep pushing US 30 up. Now here's another thing for you guys to journal in future. So if you guys remember yesterday during the live session, we were marking up the all-time high and the psychological level. So normally, if an instrument gets to a psychological level, especially, I'm not too familiar with like EU or gold as much, based off of this, the one I'm talking about. But if US 30 gets to a so yesterday's psychological level was 39,000. So 39,000 was a major psychological level. So normally, when you get to that psychological level, previously before that level, you probably have a quick meltdown or whatnot, quick test and push back down or push back up, whatever. Now, when it gets back to that psychological level, don't try to sell at that point. Normally, and this is something I've noticed for US 30, if it goes to those 39,000, 38,000, 37,000, the best place to sell is to buy is 250 points away from that zone. So in this instance, I do anticipate US 30. So let's see what US 30 will do when it gets to 239,250 right there, but never really try to catch that psychological level sell. And so even before it gets to 250, so it's normally between 150 to 250. So normally it will go, because again, they know that a lot of people are trying to sell that psychological level. So they'll try and stop hunt. So they'll push price up. So sometimes to like 150 points beyond, which is what they did yesterday before dropping it back down a little bit. But then today, because it's Friday, so remember yesterday we talked about Friday having that continuation. So 250 is the earliest that, again, I'm bullish on US 30, but 250 is the earliest that I would even be looking to do a sell on US 30. So maybe something like this today, but let's just observe what happens when price gets to that 250. So there's that EU sell currently, I'm sorry, EU buy currently running. And this one, I'm also looking for this structure to be maintained. So we do know there's an hourly bullish order block here. I do know there's this structure, like possibly higher lows being created here. So if we do turn on even the markups indicators, or the markups indicator that we were, not markups, the trend, high low plus trend indicator we were using yesterday, we should see those high lows being established. So this will probably be a lower low. This one will be like a lower high. And we do know that we have some demand zones here. So there you go, lower low, high low, lower low. So I'm anticipating a high low to be established somewhere here, possibly bounce off of that hourly order block. What else? What else is there? So on the 30-minute time frame, nothing for EU. Let's go back now to the hourly time frame. So on the hourly time frame, this for me, so today I did say probably will be taking the gold trade and the EU trade because I don't have any US 30 trade. Now the gold trade, we have an hourly setup right here. This would be the best place to sell on the hourly. This 30-minute and 15-minute. So right now, again, if anybody has a confluence for 2025, gold is approaching that and would be that's where the trade would be entering. But the reason I'm not entering here, there's nothing, yes, we have suppliers sitting here. Actually, we do not, because this is just the red box that I drew for an SAR. So this is not, so this is no man's land. So even here on the 15-minute, you'd have to wait for price to get to the nearest supply zone within a supply zone, which is 2030, 2029 area, which lines up with the 30-minute supply zone, lines up with the hourly supply zone as well here. So for me personally, I am not taking this 15-minute trade setup. So at this point, I might as well go ahead and delete this in order to avoid any kind of, actually not delete it. What I will do, so same thing that I did with the 30-minute and 1 hour, look for where price, because here we're coming off of demand. So there's no, again, if we need to sell, we need to be selling where suppliers are. If we want to buy, we want to buy where buyers are. So we go ahead and do that. So that would be the trade setup. And this lines up with the 30-minute. This lines up with the 1 hour zone as well. Go ahead and turn that off. So we'll just wait for price to come back up. And EU, I think EU is bouncing off of that hourly, that hourly bullish order block. So I know we have an hourly bearish order block. We are inside an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low, but this bearish order block has no supply. So we have more demand than supply here. So to me, this bullish order
Ryzen, what's
block
your stop loss on that EU trade?
is 15 pips, so it's 1.0. I don't know. I took it in two accounts. One account I didn't have time to put it in. So in one account, my
Okay.
stop loss is 1.08145. On my other account, it's 1.08144. So actually, ideally, yeah, 145 area. So turn off this markups. Going to the hourly time frame, so we already know where to expect gold. So I'll go ahead and turn off the zones indicator in order to avoid the charts being less cluttered. And then let's see, what am I thinking? So 1 hour, 1 hour time frame here. We also do have a 1 hour break. No. Actually, I misspoke. I was thinking we have a break and continuation. We might be setting up for a test and rejection on EU on the hourly time frame, and I'm hoping we do get that. So remember, the green zones are the 4-hour zones right here, and the blue zones are the 1 hour zones. So if you guys can see here, we have a possible test and rejection forming on the hourly time frame. And I think we are going to get this because this hourly candle closes in the next minute, 3 minutes, 50 seconds. So this would be a nice confluence as well on EU. So this is a pending test and rejection of this blue zone. So the blue zone is the hourly zone. The green zone is the 4-hour zone that we'll look at after. So here, if we go to test and rejection bias, so let me just edit this real quick. And there goes US 30, almost at that 2050. So observe what happens at or 250 region. Say this. All right. So visual order, bring to front. So it's based off of this zone. So I would want to see that hourly pick back up and then get something like this, and that. All right. 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, nothing for US 30. Gold, nothing for gold. Here on the 4-hour, the red zones are the gold ones. The green zones are the 4 hours here, so nothing on EU as well. So I think we've marked up, or I've marked up my trades for the day. Let's look at the momentum indicator. Momentum indicator, no momentum entry on EU on the 4-hour time frame, whether it's a buy, whether it's a sell. Do see something here. 1 hour. And then, so no valid momentum buy, no valid momentum sell on
Where
EU.
did you say US 30? Is it 250?
Yeah, 250 is where you expect a rejection to the downside. It might not be long lasting. It might be like a scalp trade, but 250, you can expect some sort of rejection. Uh, this is gold. Hmm. Gold, no valid momentum buy, no valid momentum sell on the 1 hour, on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. No valid momentum buy or sell that I can see. So lastly, so US 30 definitely we won't get, at the very least. We actually won't get anything, I don't think. Definitely not on the 4-hour, and also nothing on the no valid momentum sell on the 1 hour. All right. Yeah, so today my only trades will probably be just gold and EU. All right, so there goes US 30 around that 2050 region. So this is where you'd expect some, maybe 10, can even give a 10-point drop. But again, I'm not, it's not a strategy I'm trading. This is just something I've noticed over time. And 10 a.m., I don't think the EU 1-hour trade validated. Nope, it did not, because the rejection candle closed within the SAR zone. So this trade setup is invalidated. We would have to wait for a new trade setup. And we're just waiting for, so now I'm only waiting for gold, and then I will be done for the day. And look at that. So gold, if we took this trade here, almost be right, getting stopped out. So again here, oh shit, gold tapped. Give me 1 second. So for the 30-minute time frame, give me 1 second, give me 1 second. This is 2031, right? And this is 2028. So let me look at this. Let me think this through. Just a second. Just a second. No, okay, yeah. So 15-minute is here, so never mind. 15-minute entry is there. So I'll take the hourly. I think if we get there, hoping we get that push zones. Yeah, I think the hourly. So we have the 15-minute, 30-minute, and hourly. So the hourly already, so even here on the hourly time frame, this entry validated. So it's no longer pending test and rejection. It's an outright test and rejection. The trade validated here. So this would be the trade, but up, and there goes US 30 dropping, right? From 2050, from 250. So this would be the trade because it's based off of this zone, or even at the very least waiting for here. But if we apply the zones, where would they, where's the first or some of the zones they would go to pick up liquidity for selling? So somewhere around here. So for me, I'll wait for this to happen right there for that US 30. No, not US 30, the gold trade. But if anybody, the 15-minute is all, the 30-minute just tapped, but I'm not in the 30-minute. I feel like I would, if I had seen it earlier, I would have tapped into it, but I'll just wait for it and see. If I miss this, again, there's the hourly, so there's no rush. So the 15-minute did not tap, the 30-minute tapped. I mean, none of them. I'm only in this EU sell that's right here. No, EU buy that's right here. And we'll just continue observing. Let's observe this US 30 real quick. So you see that zone, that's right there. So the only, I haven't scalped in forever, but yeah, this from 2050, we can expect a like 100, possibly 100-point drop, which would normally be like my TP, but I don't think I would have gone for such a trade. I think I would do like a 1:1 risk to reward. So maybe do like a 50-point stop loss and 50-point TP. Because mostly this is a speculative trade. But there goes that 2050 rejection there. or I'm sorry, 250 rejection. So that number right there, when US30 gets to these psychological levels, this is normally the best place. So in theory, I would have hoped to have like an SAR entry right there, but this one would have been purely a speculative trade, even if I would have taken it. But I did not take it. I just wanted to see how that pattern plays out. So here, pretty much just gonna wait for the gold trade. If I do get that gold trade on the hourly, that will be it for me for the live session and for the trades of the week. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So not in this gold trade, looking to take the hourly gold trade, looking to take this gold trade. Now, if this hourly as well closes, we might get a momentum sell, but anyway, let's see how these trades go. EU looks to be melting down. So we have the next area of demand, which is right here. So I like where our stop loss is. We have these areas of demand right here. And I do know we have that hourly bullish OB. I think it's a bullish low. But anyway, we'll just let price do whatever it wants to do. We still have one other trades, possible trade setup. Should be looking, okay. Looking at gold. So even here on gold, it might be forming another test and rejection or a test and rejection entry based off of this zone. So we do have some possible nice setups on gold coming up. EU is picking that sell side momentum as well. So anticipating a bounce from that demand zone. I think it just got to that demand zone or just getting to that demand zone there. 31. Let me see this. I think for this gold one, thinking about a pending order, but no. Right, let's just wait for it. See. 60-something. Oh, yeah, we also retesting that daily SAR. Mm. I may set a pending order here for gold at 2031, 2031.4, because gold is taking a little too, it's just moving up slowly. But I'll stay on for another 8 or 15 or so minutes. And if we don't get that 1 hour gold entry, we'll just call it a day for the live session. I'll probably set a pending sell order for gold at 20, what is it, 2031.4 area. Probably do that. All right, there we go. So not taking this 30 minutes. So remember I'm thinking mostly which is the most optimal one. So the most optimal one to me is the hourly one. But right, if anybody has any confluence, so it's a nice if we didn't have the 1 hour sell set up on gold, I would have taken this 30-minute. But because we have the hourly one, again, and it's more optimal, it's at a more optimal zone at 2031. If we turn this zones on, so I would rather catch this as opposed to that one. And there goes US 30 back, right? So it dropped 2059 to 259 to like 206 or 209. So here on EU, right? So you remember, so you see that demand that got picked up, that demand zone, that's right there. Barely touched it, but also here, if we do go back to the high lows, now I expect this to be a high low. So this is what we used to call previously when we first started trading a hanging trend line. So we would expect this in future to be established as a high low. And if we go to the 5-minute, we'll probably see an earlier concept of that. So this is a lower low. So this will probably be a lower low depending based off of this previous one, and then that trend line would hold if this is to keep going up. So turn that back off. I'll delete that. But anyway, it doesn't have to do that. It can easily melt back down really quickly. All right, so this particular one. Oh, also on the hourly, I think we drew. So this was a test and rejection. So for this one, we needed to draw where somebody would achieve a 1:1 risk to reward. So if this trade gets to this zone first, before coming back up for us or for me, that will be the end of it. I'm going to wait for another trade setup. Because remember, even though we are waiting to sell at an optimal level or to enter the sell at an optimal level, we still need to draw, because again, this trade validated, it was based off of this SAR zone, the trade validated here. So we are definitely interested to see where somebody would be setting break even for that trade. For me, I'm just looking to see where price would come to pick up liquidity, which I believe is here. But if this trade gets to, or if price gets to 2024.6 first before coming to 2031.3 or 0.4 first, then I'll go ahead and delete this trade and forget about it and wait for a new trade setup. So it's possible this EU trade will get stopped out. You can see that momentum to the downside. We do have that demand zone, but we might get a flash down on EU that might stop out this EU trade, which is fine. If I get the gold trade and I win the gold trade, I'll still be up for the day. So it is what it is. So I'm still in the trade on those two accounts, just a little bit too close to my stop loss. And we'll just wait for this particular one. Mm, what else? No, I'll leave that. Mm, we need to hold above this daily by SAR as well. Hopefully get the dollar dropping too. Mm. All right, so it's now 10:15. So I think that will be it for the live session. For the gold trade, just know that I will take the gold trade if we get to 2031.4 first before coming to 2024.6. But if we get to 2024.6 first before going back up, I'll not be taking that trade. I'll wait for a new trade setup. So we still have other zones here on the hourly, right? We have this double SAR right here at 2029.5 and 2028.9. We have another one at 2033. So I'll possibly wait for another trade setup. But other than that, that should be it. This EU trade might get stopped out. So let's see if we do get stopped out in this current candle. If we do, also that will be the end of the live session. If we don't, again, that will still be the end of the live session as well. But yeah, so this was a good one. We did, so there was a demand zone here and there was an hourly bullish order block. Looks like the demand zone got mitigated. So that's why it's no longer there. By mitigated by this bearish or this supply zone that's created here. So this is the last stand for EU. If EU breaks this zone, you can see really there's nothing. And now that they have this supply zone here, they also have that order block, the 4-hour bearish low that they can keep taking price down. We also do still have that 4-hour bullish low as well. So right here, it's a fight of the order blocks and suppliers and supply and demand. So at this point, there's really nothing, but it was a solid trade. I really did see it as it is still a solid trade, but if we get stopped out, then it's just one of those things. Uh, gold. I would want this to come back up before the live session ends. Um, if anybody took the 30-minute setup, you should be at break even because this should be at break even less 30 pips is 2025.395. Oh, nope, not yet. It didn't get to a 1:1. All right, so this is just going back and forth. Even EU has started like potentially coming back up. But anyway, so that will be it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ping me in the Discord. If I do take the gold sell, I'll probably set a pending sell at 2031 because I have to step out in like an hour or so. But you can see EU is reversing back up and gold is reversing back up. But other than that, I will catch you guys on Tuesday because on Mondays we don't have a live session. All right, guys. Happy trading. Happy weekend. Bye.